Well, Sheduer made some noise by performing very well against the Carolina Panthers in the first preseason game, recording 2 touchdowns and 138 passing yards. But does this mean that Sheduer jumped up in the QB depth chart?
It's football time.
Alrighty, what's going on, folks? Welcome back to the All Around Sports Podcast for sports, everything on this channel. I'm your host, Antonio. Today, we're talking about Sheduer Sanders of the Cleveland Browns. The Browns, of course, won their first preseason game 30-10 against the Carolina Panthers, but Sheduer was the main man that stood out in this game, as he had completed 14 of 30 of 23 passes, had 38 yards and 2 touchdowns, only being sacked twice. But of course, he did have some run game as well. He had 4 carries that he ran for 19 yards. The question is, does this jump Sheduer in the quarterback depth chart? Let me know. I'm going to talk about that in just a second. Before we do, if you guys do enjoy this video, do me a big favor and smash the button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. For now, let's talk about Sheduer Sanders. Sheduer, he actually impressed me on this first preseason game. And then, of course, the Cleveland Browns' next preseason game is this week, and it is on a Saturday. It'll be against the Philadelphia Eagles on the NFL Network. But I will say this. I was impressed by how Sheduer was able to play. I was very impressed. And I do believe he jumped up a few spots because I do still believe he's ahead of Dylan Gabriel, even though they drafted him ahead of him. I still believe he could be ahead of Kenny Pickett. And then to Snoop Huntley, yeah, Tyler Huntley did not look so smooth, but he was put in late. But of course, Sheduer suffered an oblique injury as well during the game, so he'll be out for at least a little while. But I will say this: Sheduer looks like a future star in the making because if we look at his time back in Colorado, he arguably was one of the top 2 prospects in the NFL, but ultimately dropped because nobody wanted to deal with his big daddy, Mr. Primetime himself. But I've said this for a while. I'm going to say it again. I think there's a few teams that are going to regret passing on him. Steelers are going to be one of them. Saints are going to be one of them. Maybe the Giants, possibly the Jets. But when I look at Sheduer, he is an amazing guy. He is an amazing person. He did nothing wrong to drop him down as far as he got dropped. It was ultimately because nobody wanted to deal with his big daddy in Mr. Prime Time, which we all know is Deion Sanders. But when I look at Sheduer's play, I believe he has a chance to exceed a lot of people's expectations. And with Cleveland, I do believe there's a chance that he could rise up and put the Cleveland Browns back on the map. Because we all know he's wearing number 12, Tom Brady's number. And we saw Tom Brady get drafted when he was that low. Because remember, I think if I remember correctly, he was like in the 200s, which he was just selected. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. But sure, he is an outstanding guy. There's nobody down that. He's an outstanding man. It's just ultimately the haters of Dion that try to get on his son. But Shador, I believe, has a chance to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. And if that's not with the Cleveland Browns, I believe it could be with someone else. But Sheduer, I will say this: if Cleveland Browns ever want to trade Sheduer away, John Schneider, try to give him a call to get Sheduer. I don't care if you have to swap Jalen Milrow with Sheduer. The Sheduer is a really solid quarterback, but of course, right now I like what Milrow did, but still I would be more settled on if it was Sheduer. But Sheduer, I do believe there's a lot of potential for this man. And I'm not only thinking he could make an attempt to become the starting quarterback ahead of Joe Flacco after this game, not which I don't think it'll happen because Joe Flacco led this team to the playoffs a few years ago. But I do believe it'll have a chance to happen in a few years. Because I will say this. I believe if Shedeur Sanders takes set on the field, I believe he has a chance to get the Cleveland Browns to somewhere that they've never been before, into the Super Bowl. That's right. I said it. Because the Browns, they're only building for their future. And I wouldn't be surprised if Sheduer were able to take over next season, that he would have a similar run that Jaden Daniels had last year. Because Sheduer has a lot of great potential in him. He's got a lot of great upside. He's got a great arm. He's got amazing precision. And I believe that if Sheduer takes over for Joe Flacco partway through the season, Sheduer Sanders will put a lot of the NFL on notice when he makes his debut in the NFL regular season. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you guys believe that Sheduer Sanders jumped up the quarterback depth chart? Let me know in the comments what you guys think down below. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, do me a big favor and smash the button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, I'll see you all in the next one. Ciao for now.